Once long ago, beneath the golden Caribbean sands lay the island of Cuba. It was before the great cities rose. The shores were wild and green. But the first traces of the bustling port of Havana were already carving their way into the land.
¡La caña ya llegó! Veo. ¿Cuánto trae esta vez? Suficiente para los barcos. Mira qué carga.
Aprovechen antes que se acabe.
It was here, in the shadows of the palm trees and the dust of the rough and tumble streets, that lived an orphan boy named Chito. Years before, his mother and two older brothers had been abducted by a violent gang of pirates during a raid on his village near the docks of Havana. Chito was only 6 years old at the time. On that fateful day, he had been out playing and daydreaming about what it would be like to see the world from the deck of one of those majestic masted sailing ships docked in the port. With a sense of wonder, Chito thought,
"Oh, amazing! Those sails! They look like giant clouds caught in the ropes. One day I'm going to be up there. I'll climb the highest mast and see all the way to the end of the world. One day."
But when he returned to what had been his home, reality struck hard. What had been his small house had been burned to the ground. His family was gone, and only the smoldering embers and his memories remained. Frightened and confused, Chito ran to his neighbor's house next door.
"Maria, what happened to my house? Where is my mother? My brothers?"
Oh, Chito, the men, the ones with the black flags, they took them. They took all of them. God knows what they're gonna do to them. Your family, my husband, my sons, all gone.
"Then I will go rescue them. I'll find them. I'm small, Maria, but I can hide. I can bring them back. Really, I can."
No, child. You must stay hidden. You are all that is left.
Her husband and two teenage sons had been captured by the bandits as they tried to fight off their attackers. After a few moments to compose herself, she offered Chito a meal and a place to spend the night, but explained she could not take him in. With no means of support, she herself had no idea how she and her 6-month-old daughter, Carmela, would survive. As Chito closed his eyes to rest that evening, he could not help but hear his mother's voice. She whispered to him,
As long as you can see the traveler's star, you will never be lost.
"One day I'll follow that star, and I'll rescue you, and my brothers too."
The next morning, Chito thanked Maria and set out to begin the difficult task of finding his family while facing an unknown future as a 6-year-old alone in the world. In the meantime, he was determined to survive the streets of Havana until he was old enough to get a job on a ship. 7 years have passed since that terrible day. Chito has just turned 13. He has overcome many perils during all that time alone, and through all the hardships and hunger, his resolve has never wavered.
Hey, you skinny little street rat.
"I'm no rat, senor. Rats are thieves. I'll sweep your steps for that burnt crust of bread, the one you're throwing away."
No handouts today.
"You're lost, senor. My stomach may be empty, but my feet are fast. I'll find a feast elsewhere, you'll see."
I'm not interested. Just go away. You hanging around here is bad for business.
Chito now understood well the difficulties of life on the streets, but he had a good heart, and his determination was unshakable. He was small for 13. He was as thin as a rail and quick as the wind. He had no family, no home, and no shoes. But he carried a treasure in his chest that no pirate could ever steal. A heart filled with hope and a resilient spirit. One hot and muggy afternoon, while Chito was searching for scraps near the dock, the air suddenly grew cold with danger. 3 shadows fell across the cobblestones. Pirates, mean, grumbling men with beards like wire and boots that stomped the ground like thunder. They were cursing at something in the alleyway. It was a frightened dog, frantically yelping. He was Scruffy, a golden-furred creature, barking bravely and attempting to protect his small patch of ground. But the pirates were cruel. They threatened the helpless creature with flashes of steel from their swords and cruel laughter. The most vile of the 3 swung his sword. The cornered dog yelped loudly as a blade sliced into his flesh. He growled and battled back with all the strength left in him, but the wound was so severe that his fighting spirit began to weaken. When Chito caught a glimpse of what was happening, he jumped immediately into action. He didn't check his pockets for a weapon. He knew he had none. He only had his courage.
3 of them. Big ones. And only one of me. My heart is beating like a drum. Good. That means I'm ready. Hey, you pumpkin-headed sea scum! Leave him alone!
The pirates turned and were confused by the tiny voice. In that split second, Chito ran towards them, kicked over a stack of empty rum barrels stored along the alley's narrow pathway. Barrels rolled everywhere, rumbling like thunder, as they sent the still cursing pirates into a heap of tangled limbs. At that moment, Chito swooped in and scooped up the injured dog. He was heavier than he looked, but struggling, he ran. He ran until his lungs burned. Climbing higher and higher up the crumbling stone walls of a long-abandoned nearby fortress, Chito had rescued the animal and finally reached his secret hideout. This was his safe place. Chito had found shelter in the upper reaches of this former military outpost only a month earlier. It was here that Chito realized just how serious the dog's wound was. The sad truth was that the pirate's blade had caused a wicked gash in the dog's left hind leg. It could not be saved. For days and nights, Chito didn't sleep. He used his only shirt to make bandages. He used his meager food to feed the dog by hand and used a large, empty tin can he had found on the street to capture rainwater for drinking.
You are strong. You're a survivor like me. I will name you Tatu.
He didn't understand the language, but he always heard sailors shout, "Tatu!" when 3 of them gathered. He assumed that the word meant 3. In the evenings, to ease his new friend's pain, he whispered stories of the stars to soothe his suffering.
Do you see that bright, bright star above us, Tatu? Right above the mast of that Spanish galleon? My mother used to tell me that it's the traveler's star. As long as you can see it, you'll never be lost. You're here with me now. Together, we'll never be lost again.
Early one morning, while Chito was scrounging for food among the rubbish barrels behind a large fish market, the owner caught a glimpse of the poor orphan searching through the discarded fish carcasses. He watched for a moment from his doorway, and then, in a warm and friendly voice, said,
"Are you hungry, son?"
The unexpected voice caught Chito off guard. Startled, his first instinct was to run.
Stop! It's okay. I first noticed you coming around early in the mornings, and then again late in the afternoons last week. I think I can help you. Would that be all right?
Chito was stunned. Orphan boys were not a welcome sight along the docks in 17th century Havana.
I'm not stealing. Really. You see, me and my injured dog are all alone, and I'm trying as best as I can to keep us both alive.
I see.
Chito went on to explain how he'd rescued Tatu from a violent band of drunken pirates.
You know, that was a very brave and noble thing you did, helping a helpless creature like that. I could use a courageous, caring young man like you in my store. If you are willing, I could really use your help. You see, every day at sunrise, my fish arrives. The crates must be unloaded from the delivery wagon and carried into the store. Then the fish must be cleaned and sorted. My wife and I used to do all the work ourselves, but we were much younger then. We could really use the help of a strong young man like yourself. Are you willing to work for your meals?
Senor, I can't believe my good fortune. Of course, I will be your very best worker. Gracias, senor.
Very well then. You begin in the morning. Oh, and by the way, I can pay you 1 toston per day. And also, in the afternoon, when you leave, you are welcome to take home whatever food and supplies you need from my store for you and your injured friend. De acuerdo? Deal?
De acuerdo? Deal! May God bless you, senor. Gracias.
Mañana then. By the way, what is your name?
It took Chito a moment to wipe the huge smile off his face before he could reply.
Chito, senor. My name is Chito. And my dog is Tatu. He sends you his thanks, too.
Oh, one more thing. My wife Paola prepared something fresh and delicious for your celebration meal. She had a feeling you would accept my offer.
Chito could not contain his happiness. He ran up and gave Senor Francisco a big hug, accepted the small cloth-wrapped bundle his wife had prepared for him, and then quickly ran off to share his good news with Tatu. 2 weeks later, life for Chito and Tatu had changed completely. Chito's job lifted the burden of the daily search for food. Tatu was rapidly regaining his strength. As the bandages began to come off, he wobbled. He tried to stand, but he would trip over. Tatu looked at Chito with sad and confused looks. Chito would then kneel down and look at his new friend through his kind eyes. He'd say,
Oh, it's okay, Tatu. Watch me. See? You don't need all your feet to dance. Try it. You can do it, boy.
One evening, as Chito was arriving home from work, Tatu's ears perked up. He barked, and then, with a grunt of effort, he pushed himself up. He took 1 step, then 2. He found new balance, a new rhythm. He had only 3 legs now, but he had one mighty spirit. In time, Tatu didn't just walk. He learned to run. He ran faster than ever before, cutting corners with ease. From that day forward, the streets of Havana were no longer a challenge. When Chito walked, he walked tall because trotting beside him was his 3-legged buddy. Tatu walked alongside Chito with a skip and a goofy grin. Their experience together had established an unbreakable bond. It was something neither of them had ever really known. The boy, who had survived with nothing, now had everything. The treasure in his chest, the one no pirate could ever steal, had only grown, beating now in rhythm with Tatu's 3-point stride. This night, perched safely in their secret safe place they now called home, they were no longer just a street urchin and a stray dog. They were a team.
We made it, boy. And now, the world is waiting.
As Chito and Tatu gazed at the billions of stars in the night sky, Chito realized for the first time in his life that the traveler's star his mother had spoken to him about was actually a 3-point star.
As long as you can see the traveler's star, you will never be lost.
His three-legged friend had given his life direction. Together, they would never feel lost or alone ever again.